All right, Selman, looks like you are charged with, wait, I don't have a county attorney yet, do I?
No.
Oh, great. Okay.
So that, for that amount,
Class, what do you like?
Richard Selman, is that correct?
Or something. Yes, ma'am, it is.
You're charged with 1 count of theft and aggravated shoplifting, a continuous criminal episode. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first in the prosecutor's office, and then I'll hear from your attorney. I understand there's also, you're being held on another felony case. Ms. Goodman?
Good evening, Your Honor. The state is recommending a bond of $10,000 with pretrial services if the bond is posted. The concern, Your Honor, is the continual criminal activity from the listed offenses. The defendant has a significant criminal history, and based also that defendant has that other pending matter before the court. That'll be the state's recommendation.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, he's been in the jail for the past 5 months on a $10,000 bond from a case that I believe postdates the allegations in this case. I think he's unable to bond out given his inability to pay the bonds already imposed, and given the nature of these offenses, we would just ask the court impose $1,000 bond for time credit.
Mr. Salmon, your bond is set at $5,000, plus release of pretrial services if you're able to post that bond. Patrick Coppin is your appointed counsel. You're not allowed to go back to any of the store locations. Your preliminary hearing is set March 31st at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
Mr. Coppin. No.
So,
What is your full name, please? If you could unmute. What is your, sorry, say that again? You're charged with one count of shoplifting. I'm an inner plea of not guilty. I'm gonna allow you to be released. I'll release you. Do not go back to that store location at 3845 South Country Club Road. Your next court date's in Justice Court, March 31st at 8:30 a.m. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You are excused. Thank you.
Hey, Brooks. Hey. Yeah. No, website.
What is your full name, please?
Schaefer face?
A domestic violence assault, one count of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. I'm going to allow you to be released. You're not allowed to have any contact with your sister. Do you understand?
Yes.
Don't commit any further acts of domestic violence. Your next court date is going to be in Justice Court, March 31st at 10:30 a.m. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Thank you. You're excused.
Quiero.
What is your full name, please?
Miguel Mosqueros.
You had a warrant for your arrest at a justice court for a shoplifting case from April 18th of 2024. I'm going to quash the warrant. I will release you on this case only. Your next court date in justice court is April 10th at 11 a.m. I'll let justice court know that you're currently in custody on a felony matter. You are excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Bonita Marie Balthazar.
You are charged with one count of domestic violence assault, 3 counts of domestic violence disorderly conduct, 1 count of domestic violence criminal damage. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Hold on. I'm going to allow you to be released. Do not commit to any further acts of domestic violence. Your next court date is going to be in city court on April 22nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Excuse, thank you.
Thank you.
What is your full name, please?
Juan Orozco.
Mr. Orozco, looks like you are charged with domestic violence, 2 counts of domestic violence, failure to comply with a court order. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. They are 2 separate matters. Hold on a second. Oh, yes, I remember this case. So Mr. Orozco, you are on unsupervised probation on 1, 2, 3, 4 separate cases. You also have an order of protection that you have no contact with your mother and you keep having contact, allegedly. I am going to hold you on a bond. It's going to be $1,000 secured. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. You're not allowed to have any contact with your mother. You can't call her, see her, go to where she lives if you were to post that bond. You have to stay away from her, sir.
Yeah.
And, set your next hearing date on March 28th, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. And your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you. You're excused. What is your full name, please?
Anthony Petronas,
Do you have a middle name?
Anthony Felon.
All right, looks like you have new charges of drug paraphernalia, domestic violence, is one case. Well, actually, drug paraphernalia, domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct are the newest charges in one case. You also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cases in warrant status. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty, set your bond at $2,000, appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. And your next court date is going to be in City Court, March 28, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
So am I released on the felony charges?
On the misdemeanor charges, you are being held on a $2,000 bond.
What about the felony charge? You're not here for felonies. Let's go.
I'm not sure, sir. Thank you.
Come on. Thank you. There we go.
Come on.
What is your full name, please?
Morgan James and Amnet.
Mr. Namnat, looks like you're charged with new charges of unlawful possession of a prescription drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know that you do have a right to appear at all future hearings. If you do not appear at your next court date, I'm going to allow you to be released. It's going to be April 21st, 2025 at 9 a.m. If you don't appear on that date, a warrant could issue you for arrest. New charge of failure to appear could be added to your case. And I need to let you know, let's say you set your case for trial at some point and you're found guilty of any of the charges and you don't appear for sentencing. If 90 days passes and you've not appeared, then you forever waive your right to appeal your case to a higher court. You've got to make your court date, sir. April 21st at 9 a.m. is your next court date. Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
What is your full name, please?
Your name? Ashley
Your last name, please?
Clemens
What is your middle name?
Marie.
You're charged with domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct, contributing to delinquency of minor charges, endangerment, and failure to ensure children are failure to ensure that your child is attending school. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Do you know if CPS got involved in this case? Child Protective Services?
No, ma'am. It's hard to hear.
Do you know if when you were arrested, whether Child Protective Services got involved in your case?
Okay.
Do you know if they were involved in your case? Do you know who's taking care of your children? Ms. Clemens, I need to make sure that, go ahead.
It's hard to hear. I'm sorry.
All right. Do you know who is taking care of your child right now?
Their dad.
Does he live in the home?
Yes.
I have to decide whether I want to allow you to have contact with the children. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty, let you know you do have a right to appear for all future hearing dates. I'm going to set your next hearing date for April 24th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. You must be present. If you're not present for that hearing date, a new charge of failing to appear could be added to your case. A warrant could issue for your case. You do have a right to appear for all future court dates. You have a right to remain silent. And in this case, I am going to, as I stated, release you. And I need to let you know if at some point in your case, let's say you set your case for trial, you're found guilty of any of the charges and you don't appear for sentencing, and 90 days passes, if you could forever waive your right to appeal this case to a higher court. Ms. Clemens, you got to make sure you appear in court and don't pick up any new charges. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Not commit any further acts of domestic violence. You are excused. What is your full name, please?
Ashley E. Schaefer Purdy.
All right, hold on a second. I don't have any paperwork on this. Please. No minute. Oh, sorry. Different court, sorry. All right, so Mr. Schaefer Purdy, looks like you're charged with two separate counts. One is a domestic violence assault charge, one's a domestic violence disorderly conduct charge. I'm gonna enter pleas of not guilty. I am going to release you. Do not pick up any new charges. Your next court date in justice court is going to be March 31st at 10:30 a.m. Make sure you appear for your court date. If you do not, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. You're excused.
Crawford.
What is your full name, please? All right, looks like you had a felony warrant for your arrest for shoplifting and organized retail theft. The offense date was from January 25th, 2025. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Ms. Goodman?
Your Honor, the state is recommending $10,000 with pretrial service if the bond is posted, which is the bond amount requested on the warrant. That be based on the defendant's criminal history, failed to appear history, multiple active warrants at this point. In addition, she was previously released to pretrial services and she failed to comply with court conditions.
Defense counsel.
Your Honor, we would ask that you give Ms. Crawford another opportunity on pretrial services release. These are nonviolent property offenses. It does appear that all of the charges that she has pending in city court are also nonviolent property offenses or drug offenses, and she does not have any violent criminal violent felony convictions. Given that, we would ask that you give her another opportunity with pretrial.
Ms. Crawford, your bond set at $2,500. Public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Your arraignment date is set for March 28th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. You also had 1, 2, 3, 4 cases in warrant status out of city court for charges involving criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia, shoplifting, possession of prescription drugs, and drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty, quash the warrants. I'll release you on your city court cases. Your next court date is going to be in city court, May 16th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'll appoint the city public defender's office to represent you to help you with this case. So both attorneys will be in touch with you soon. You're excused. Thank you.
No.
No, you're not. What is your full name, please?
Michael Renee Phoebus.
What is your middle name, please?
A
How do you spell it?
RENE.
Thank you. You are charged with unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle and resisting arrest. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I'll hear from your attorney. Ms. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state is recommending a $5,000 bond warrant with pretrial services. I do acknowledge the defendant does not have a prior criminal history. The concern, Your Honor, is the flight risk and the danger of the defendant exposed the community driving at a high speed at a residential area. In addition, the defendant also fled at a high speed, running multiple red lights, endangering the community.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, I would ask that you release Michael to pretrial services supervision. Pretrial scored him at a 1. He does not have an NVCA flag. He's a 2 on the NCA scale, a 1 on the FTA scale. As Ms. Goodman said, he has no prior convictions of any kind, misdemeanor or felony. He has no prior felony arrests. He's only 20 years old, so even if he is convicted at trial, he's probation available. Pretrial was also able to confirm housing and employment for him. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services.
Mr. Phoebus, because you are employed full-time, lived in Tucson, it looks like all your life, and you have family verified ties, your first alleged offense, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You must comply with any monitoring treatment they recommend. You are not allowed to drive without a valid license. You are not allowed to drink any alcohol or take any illegal drugs. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set April 10th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Stay in touch with your attorney. You are excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Christopher Gretrig,
What is your middle name, please?
James.
You are charged with 1 count of organized retail theft. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first in the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. In jail, does he have a felony bond hold on him?
No, he does not, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Goodman?
Your Honor, the recommendation is 7,500 with pretrial services if the bond is posted. That will be based on the ongoing criminal activity. He's currently on probation on 2 separate cases in 2 different counties for similar related offenses.
Defense counsel.
Your Honor, I would ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release. I understand that he is on probation, but it does appear that he's been compliant now for over a year in each of those cases. This is organized retail theft charges. He's only 22 years old. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, your bond is set at $3,000. Don't go back to the store locations. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set March 31st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. You're excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Julio Anthony Lam.
You're charged with theft of means of transportation, unlawful possession of burglary tools, and burglary to 3rd degree. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I also see that you are also on probation. Jail, is there a probation hold on him? Ms. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state is recommending a $10,000 bond with pretrial service based on the nature of the offense. The defendant being on probation while this offense was committed. In addition, it looks like he does like community ties. He's unemployed and he's facing mandatory prison.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, I would ask that you give Julio an opportunity on pretrial services release. Pretrial was able to speak with his sister who lives in Tucson and confirm that Julio resides with his grandmother who also lives in Tucson. Given the nature of these offenses and given that he has verified housing, we would ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release.
Allow your bond set at $5,000. No contact with the victim. Don't go back to the incident location. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set March 31st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Thank you. You're excused. What is your full name, please?
Daniel Meza Enriquez.
All right, hold on a second. Daniel Mesa. All right, looks like you're charged with domestic violence. You waive reading of the complaint?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Mr. Medisa, I'm going to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing on this evening's hearing. I am going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. And Mr. Mesa, what did you say your middle name was?
I think they have me under Enriquez.
No, I'm asking you, what is your middle name?
It's Gonzalez.
Your middle name is Gonzalez?
That's what I go by, Daniel Meza Gonzalez, but they put E.
All right, Ms. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state is recommending a bond of $15,000 with pretrial service. That will be based on the nature of the offense. The victim does object to the defendant's release, does not want further contact with the defendant. The main also concern, Your Honor, is the continual risk to the victim based on the distribution and the contact being made to the minor in attempt to also harass the victim.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, I would ask that you give Mr. Mays an opportunity on pretrial services release. It does appear he has no prior felony arrest of any kind, no prior domestic violence arrest of any kind. Pretrial services did score him at a 1. Pretrial was able to speak with his mother, who did confirm that housing and also confirmed that he is employed full-time. He does not have an NVCA flag. He's a 1 on the NCA scale, a 1 on the FTA scale, and he has no prior convictions of any kind, misdemeanor or felony. Given that, we would ask to give him an opportunity on pretrial services release.
Mr. Mesa, due to the alleged facts of this case, your bond is set at $15,000. No contact with the victim at all. Don't write the person, contact person, don't call. If you were to get out of custody, do not go to where that person lives or works. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set March 31st at 1:30 p.m. You also had 2 separate counts of domestic violence harassment by communication. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. On these charges, actually, you're being held on a felony. I'm going to hold you on a small bond. It's going to be $1,000. And no contact with the victims in this case. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next hearing date's April 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Your attorneys will be in touch with you soon. Thank you. What is your full name, please? You're charged with being a prohibited possessor of a firearm during the commission of a drug offense, unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter, and then also being a prohibited possessor. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. And you do have a Department of Corrections hold on you. Ms. Goodman?
Your Honor, the state is recommending a $10,000 bond with pretrial service based on the nature of the offense, being a prohibited possessor while he's on a parole violation warrant, and also based on his criminal history.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, we would ask for a nominal bond given the DOC hold. He's going to stay in custody.
Mr. Mata, your bond set at $10,000. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Possession of firearms or weapons. Preliminary hearing is set for March 31st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. You are excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Robert Sylvan,
What is your middle name?
Robert Anthony Sylvan.
And are you a junior?
Yes, ma'am.
You are charged with burglary 3rd degree, unlawful possession of burglary tools, and criminal damage. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Ms. Goodman?
Your Honor, the state is recommending a bond in this matter for $3,500 with pretrial services. I acknowledge the defendant does not have criminal history. Nonetheless, the charges before the court involves a local business. The damage caused to this business is rather significant, and the tool that was utilized as the bird tool was also a knife, which a concern that's also considered as a dangerous weapon. The defendant also made multiple attempts for entry to this local business. The concern is that defendant will continue to target this small business.
Defense counsel.
Your Honor, I would ask that you release him to pretrial services supervision. As this Goodman noted, he has no prior felony arrest of any kind. So if he were to go to trial, be convicted, he is probation available. Pretrial services was able to speak with his mother, who did confirm that he is employed full-time and that he has housing available. Pretrial services did score him at a 2. He does not have an NVCA flag. It does not appear he has any prior failures to appear. Given that, we would ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release.
Court's gonna set the bond at $2,000 plus release of pretrial services. If he's able to post a bond, he must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. You're not allowed to go back to that business location or have any contact with the business owners. Legal Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is March 31st at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that was our last hearing.
Yes. You all have a good evening.